Hey guys, Jeremy with My Lawn Turf and Tree here again. With the spring rolling and the grass thriving, we wanted to dig in a little bit into the importance of your lawn care programs and what you're applying to your lawn. So the things that you apply to your lawn, obviously it has an impact on your grass, but what we can fail to think about sometimes is the long-term issues that we may have as a result of these applications on the health of our soil and of our trees. So that's what we want to talk about real quick with you guys. So, some of the, common lawn care practices, applying pre-emergent and some fertilizer in the spring. A lot of times we'll blanket spray for weeds to ensure there's no weed breakthroughs, and fertilizing throughout the year, and maybe even applying a little fungicide when it's needed, so on and so forth, right? So there are all kinds of options out there, and we just wanted to help you understand the impact that what you are applying, what this may have on your soil and, what it may be doing to your trees. So we already know it can make the grass look better as a result of our applications, but what are some of the potential downsides, for those of you that are out there applying these to your lawns? So here we go. We're going to talk about first about fertilizer and the content of the fertilizer. So there are three primary nutrients that we typically see in our bags of fertilizer, and you're going to see these numbers on the outside of the bag. And that first number is the nitrogen content. The second number is the phosphorus content, and the last is the potassium content in that bag. So generally speaking, nitrogen assists with the health of the top growth, phosphorus assists with root function, and potassium is basically for the overall plant health. Super basic, but in a nutshell, you get the point. So what we don't always know, though, is what else is in that fertilizer that is being applied besides the nutrients that we see on the front of the bag. So normally, I would say between 50 to 70% of the bag isn't fertilizer at all. It's just filler, all right? And that filler actually can help the fertilizer, to keep it from clumping. It helps with the proper distribution of the product and a few other things, but normally that remaining 50 to 70% of that bag is filler, and a very common filler is limestone. And this is important to understand. So the majority of our soil in our area are relatively alkaline, meaning we have high soil pH. High pH in our soil can create some issues in nutrient absorption. It can be problematic with our trees, our grass, and and even the biology of our soil. Most plant life likes a neutral pH between 6 and 7, and here we're typically in the 7.4 to 8 range through the soil samples we've done. But going back to why this is important to understand is this. Remember the filler that we typically have in our fertilizer that we we're just talking about? It's normally limestone filler. Well, limestone or lime is an acid neutralizer, or put another way, it's used to increase pH. Well, our pH is already extremely high, so the overuse of fertilizers with lime fillers can create even more problems for an already problematic soil. So it takes time for this to occur. It doesn't happen overnight, but if you're on a long-term program and you're applying the wrong fertilizer, so to speak, you're unintentionally damaging the health of your soil, which in turn can be damaging the health of your trees. So what we would recommend is using a fertilizer. If you do need to fertilize, use a fertilizer that has a different kind of filler, if possible, that is intended or more specific to our area, which would gradually reduce the high pH soil and increase microbial activity and organic matter within our soil. And this can be done by not only the filler, which is important, but also even understanding applying different nitrogen sources that have acidifying properties, like ammoniacal nitrogen, water-insoluble nitrogens, and avoiding urea if possible. Not that urea is a bad nitrogen source, but it is a bit counterproductive when it comes to improving soil health in high pH soil such as ours. So applying the right fertilizer is important to understand for our unique soil needs here in central Kansas. All right, applying a cookie cutter kind of one-size-fits-all type of fertilizer that may do well in the eastern part of the country or the southeastern part of the country doesn't mean it's going to do well in our area where we are, where we're at. We're more arid. We have more alkaline soil. So even the soil difference between central Kansas and eastern Kansas is extreme due to the amount of precipitation that we get in those two different areas. So hope that doesn't make your, I'm not trying to make your eyes glaze over or get too deep in the woods on all this stuff, but I do want to talk about one more thing. Okay, we've talked about fertilizer, so this next thing is extremely important as well, and something that many of us just don't think about when we're applying it, and that would be the impact that herbicide applications can have on the health of our soil and our trees as well. So this, in conjunction to proper fertilizing, using proper fertilizers and herbicides, this really improves the health of our soil. All right. So many of us love to see, we strive to have that weed-free lawn. There's all kinds of options out there, weed control options. But with this, we want you to understand the impact that these products can have on the health of your soil and your trees. Again, going back to our soil, especially in our part of Kansas where soil pH tends to be a little bit higher and the clay content as well, right? So high pH and clay type soil tends to lock up certain common herbicides that we use for broadleaf weed control. So 2,4-D and dicamba, MCPP are some of the common herbicides that are often used professionally and also available to the do-it-yourself market as well. But the problem with this isn't necessarily about leaching and these products getting into the water table, so to speak. Well, that's important. What we're talking about is, the impact that this can have on our, the microbial activity in our soil because it stays tied up in there for so long. Okay, so microbes are the life in our soil, and this includes beneficial bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and nematodes that help our soil to fend off root diseases and increases organic matter in our soil, increases nutrient cycling in our soil. So basically, these microbes help our soil to be more self-sustaining, thus improving the health of our soil, our trees, and our grass. Whenever we apply certain weed controls to our lawns, it does have a negative impact on the microbial balance in our soil. So that's why for us, if we're treating a client's yard, we rarely will blanket spray a lawn. And we're cautious with the herbicides that we use, and we'll spot spray a weed if we see it. So this is a practice if you're a do-it-yourselfer. This is most definitely the best way to attack your weeds. So use as little herbicide as possible to protect our already compromised soil, right? So this is not in no way to say that herbicides are bad, or if you blanket spray your yard, you're doing a bad thing. I'm not trying to say that, but herbicides are a great tool for our industry, and they have significant benefits for weed control, but use it as needed. So imagine this. So imagine if you have a couple pimples on your face, right? You're not going to apply a coating of pimple cream on your entire body, right? No, you're going to apply it where you're having the pimple outbreak, right? So that should be the same for your lawn too, right? So doing this, plus applying the proper fertilizer to your lawn, will gradually turn the health of your soil around, creating a more self-sustaining soil and a much better growing environment for your trees and your grass. So lastly, when it comes to tree health again, good soil health means good root growth, which means more roots to take in solutes and water from the soil, which means a healthier canopy, which in turn creates a healthier root system, and that pendulum begins to swing in the right direction, right? But one more very important thing to consider when it comes to applying herbicides is this, all right? We know that overuse of herbicides can create some problems with the soil biology, but there are, again, certain herbicides, not picking on these, but it's just true, 2,4-D, dicamba, and MCPP, can be detrimental to the overall health of your trees as well. So it's a great idea to avoid blanket spraying weed control products over the root zone of your tree. So normally the root zone of a tree can extend 1 to 2 times the width of the drip line of the tree. So if you have trees in your lawn, just be careful, not to over apply weed control over those areas. The tree, those fine root hairs, they can and do absorb those products. And remember, with high pH and the clay content soil that we have, those products can remain bound up in the soil long term, and they can accumulate a little bit over time. So that's creating issues not just for the health of your soil, but it can actually be absorbed by those fine root hairs in your tree, causing issues as well. So I know this is a lot to take in, but I guess you don't know what you don't know. And we've been in the industry for over 24 years now, and I know way more now than I did 10 or 15 years ago. So we're passionate about getting what we have learned to not only our clients, but especially to the do-it-yourself market. We want you guys to understand, none of us want to intentionally do harm to our soil or our trees, but like I said a little bit ago, we don't know what we don't know. And that's why we are putting out this information for anyone who is willing to listen or interested in listening to it. We just want to do anything that we can to improve our industry, bring things to light that many would have never even known to think about. So if you have any questions about anything that we're talking about in this in this video, or if you want to learn more even about the products that we've custom blended for our area, let us know. That's what we're here for. And we sell the exact same products that we've custom blended for our clients that we take care of, and we're excited, to put these products in your hands for the next time it's time for you to fertilize. So this was, I know again, this is a lot, but thank you guys so much for listening to this, and I think we'll talk to you guys again real soon. If you need more information on any of the other videos or some other content out there, that goes into, proper mowing techniques and proper watering habits, all these things improve soil health. Everything that we do, we're trying to do it for the benefit of our soil, which in turn benefits our trees. And we know we're passionate about tree health too. So anyway, that's it. You guys take care. Have a great weekend. God bless.